I'm Willie D from the D Ranch, and today we're gonna make the world's best curry. I'm here at my old stomping grounds at the University Club in downtown Tulsa with my best friend Joseph. He is the curry master, and he's gonna show you today how to make a simple, world famous curry right here in his kitchen.
World famous.
So we're gonna start off by rinsing the rice. And the reason we're rinsing the rice is we wanna try to eliminate as much starch as possible. And once we rinse the rice, then we're actually gonna move it over to the pressure cooking pan, and we're gonna leave it in there for approximately how long?
I left it there for about 30 minutes.
So we're gonna leave it in there for 30 minutes, and this is once again gonna allow that starch to release from the rice. We'll drain it one more time, and then we'll actually start cooking the rice. The next thing is we're gonna start cutting up this chicken. So we're gonna cut it up into bite-sized pieces, and you'll notice they do look a little large when Joseph's cutting them up, but the reason why is because whenever we put it in that pan, just like anything else you cook, it's actually gonna shrink.
I use chicken tenders here. It's just easy to work with, healthier. I'm gonna be using a lot of ghee later, so let's be healthy with the chicken. I'm going to marinate the chicken now. I'm adding 2 teaspoons of coriander powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, 3 teaspoons of Kashmiri chili powder, and salt.
A lot of salt. You can see that clearly we're not taking any measurement, so be very generous with the salt.
I'm adding 2 scoops of yogurt to marinate the chicken. It helps in tenderizing the meat.
And now we're gonna mix up the chicken. So we have the yogurt in there, we also have the different spices, and we wanna try to get it all over all the pieces of chicken, so we're just gonna mix it up really, really good in this bowl.
And don't forget to leave it for 30 minutes to rest.
We're gonna take our onion and we're gonna start to slice it. You're gonna wanna cut off both of the ends off the onion, and then you're also gonna peel the outside layer off the onion. As Shrek says, onions have many layers, so we're gonna take off at least 1 or 2, and then we're gonna start slicing it. Now, Joseph, whenever we're slicing it, does it need to be any particular size?
It really doesn't have to, because we're going to be blending it later.
We also have some Thai chilies. What we're gonna do with that is just cut it up into small pieces. It'd be hard to slice them with their size, but just cut them up into small pieces because we're gonna blend it all together later.
I'm gonna leave the oil in medium heat for about a minute, and then add the cumin seeds, about 2 teaspoons, and then add the chopped up green chilies and the onions. Now we cook the mixture for about 5 minutes until the onions sweat. Keep stirring it so that it doesn't stick to the pan. So I took 3 tomatoes here, cut off the ends, and I'm roughly chopping it. After 5 minutes of cooking the onion, now I'm adding 2 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste. Cook that for about a minute, and then add the chopped up tomatoes.
So what temperature are we gonna cook the tomatoes at?
Same as the onions. We're gonna cook it in a medium heat. Cook it for about 5 to 10 minutes until the tomatoes are soft. While that's going on, I'm gonna heat up the pressure cooker. You don't need to use a pressure cooker. You can use a rice cooker for this.
But make sure to add ghee, right? That's the secret ingredient, is the ghee.
That's true. We Indians use a lot of ghee for most cooking. Once you heat up the ghee, add a whole basil leaf. Let that cook for a minute, and then add the rice now. Oh, we are using basmati rice here, and I've used a cup of basmati rice. So for a pressure cooker, I'm gonna be using 1 cup to 1.5 cups of water. Now you just stir the rice with the ghee, just let it toast for a little bit.
And always clean up your mess.
Always clean up your mess. I like a clean kitchen.
So we have the onions, the tomatoes, and of course those Thai green chilies cooking, and we're waiting for the pressure cooker to finish. Now, what are we looking for with the pressure cooker to know it's done?
For basmati rice and the amount of rice and water I added, I'm gonna wait for 2 whistles. Now I'm gonna transfer all the mixture to the blender jar, and then use a handheld immersion blender to blend it.
Now, I've cooked curry with you a couple times, and this is a step I've missed every time. I don't know if it was from the good friendship and conversation, but for me, this is really what showed me the secret to curry, is it's really the onions, the tomatoes, the chilies, and then it's all blended together.
That's correct. Yep. The next step is cooking the spices that we need for the curry. For that, I'm gonna be adding 2 heaping tablespoons of ghee. It's a lot of ghee, but it's gonna taste better.
It definitely adds some flavor in there. I've been learning more and more about it.
If you don't have ghee, you can also use butter. It's about the same, but ghee gives an extra Indian flavor to it. First, I'm adding half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. This gives a good color to the curry. And then I'm adding a heaping teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder. It gives a really good color and also it's not that spicy, so don't worry about it. Next step is adding 1 teaspoon of coriander powder. Here I'm adding about a tablespoon of crushed up dry fenugreek leaf. This gives a good flavor to the curry. If you don't have it, you can skip it. Here I'm just mixing up all the spices until it's nice and toasted. You can really smell the spices by now. I'm gonna toast it for about a minute. Cook the chicken until it has a crust on it for about 3-4 minutes, but make sure to keep stirring it.
And what heat are we cooking this on right now?
I would say low to medium heat.
It's mainly just to get that kind of caramelized crust on the chicken, right?
That's correct. And also you don't want to burn the spices.
Once the chicken is cooked exactly the way we want it, we're going to add our puree mixture. We're going to stir it around and make sure it hits all of the chicken because that puree mixture is actually going to soak into the chicken as we cook it. Now, when you stir it around, you might notice that it does look a little dry. Don't be afraid to add a little water. In this instance, we went ahead and added a half a cup of water, and then we're going to continue to stir it around and then add the top over the stove, and so that way it'll hold all the moisture into the chicken, into the curry, and just make the best dish ever.
I'm gonna set the timer for 10 minutes and let the chicken cook thoroughly. After 10 minutes, we're gonna check the curry. If we need more water, then we can add more. If we don't need it, we're gonna open the lid a bit and then cook it for another 10 minutes.
And don't forget more yogurt.
And that's gonna be about a heaping tablespoon of yogurt. And right after that, add about 3 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. It's gonna be a rich curry here.
We're gonna stir it around a little bit more, let it cook a little bit longer, and it's about ready to eat.
This is one of my favorite foods. I could literally eat this for the rest of my life without hesitation. And I'm excited to dig in.
You ready to eat?
So the colors, the colors are perfect. The dog is perfect. Everyone loves dogs. You want to take a picture of the
He
dog?
definitely wants in.
I don't know. I think he's...
Jagger would be
All
trying
right.
to eat it.
Yeah.
First test.
Jagger would have ate it by now.
Levi.
Yeah, man, this slaps. Hell yeah, bro.
All right.
He did it.
Glad you guys like it.
He did it. You pay attention. Just by going off the smells coming from his apartment, I will be regularly coming over here.
Yeah, good.
I'll tell you one thing.
As soon as I walked in, I knew the smells were just unique and, you know, just straight out of England.
Straight out of England? This is straight out of India, bro.